Welcome to Flip the Script with Vic, a sacred space for honest, unfiltered, and sometimes taboo conversations between women walking the path of truth, healing, and soul remembrance. What started as my personal exploration has become a communal prayer, a podcast devoted to amplifying women's stories in their own words. I'm your host, Victoria Nielsen, intuitive healer, mama, and space holder for the divine feminine. Here, we gather as cycle breakers, mothers, mystics, creatives, witches, and wild ones, flipping the script on what it really means to be a woman in today's world. Through raw interviews, intimate solo casts, and brave conversations, we'll chat about motherhood, mysticism, psychedelics, spirituality, and more. You'll be reminded that your voice matters, that your truth matters, that you're here to walk in beauty. So be the prayer, and let's flip the script. Are you ready? Let's jump on in. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Flip the Script with Vic. It's your host, Victoria Nielsen. Today we have one of my favorite astrologers, Yara de la Torre, or Cosmos Yara on Instagram. We met a couple years ago in a spiritual business container, and we had a bunch of similarities. And also she was living at the time very close to my hometown of Key West, which I couldn't even believe. And then the more I followed her, the more I was just like, fuck yes. Like everything she shares is amazing astrologically, but also just as a human being and a woman in the world. Like you are not afraid to say the thing, girlfriend. And I love that about you because we need more of us witches coming back online, sharing our truth and sharing with like a fierceness, because so many of us have been told that fierceness is wrong or bad, or like we need to settle down. And I say, fuck that. We need to turn it like all the way up. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Victoria. It is so cool to finally have this chat with you. I feel like it's been a long time coming. And yeah, it's so cool how the internet, right? And like, I believe this uprising that we've had over the past few years around our mission and what we're meant to do here has been able to connect us all together in ways that we could have maybe never even imagined. I I am still a resident of the Florida Keys, and I'm a little further up than Key West, but Florida Keys nonetheless. And yeah, I know that you have done work down there, and it's super cool that you're officially like what we call a conch, right? If
Yes,
you're
yeah. Yeah, when you're actually born and raised in Key West, you are called a conch. We were trying to do the math the other day. I think I'm a fifth generation conch, which is
wow,
wild to think about. And if you live in the Keys for, I believe it's like 10 years, then they'll call you a freshwater conch.
that's right.
But yes, it's a point of pride. Like our high school mascot was the conch, and yes, it was a sea slug. But conchs are amazing, right? We have our homes on our backs. We can make our homes anywhere. And I love that this conversation is happening now because the North Node just moved into Aquarius. We literally just had a full moon in Aquarius. And I feel like all of us witchy girlies are about to get like weirder and wilder and even more wonderful. So, first of all, I would love to hear like what you think of what's happening in the cosmos right now. And then, of course, share with us like your story of what brought you to astrology.
Of course, yeah. Definitely a lot of action going on right now this year with the nodes changing from Pisces and Virgo into Aquarius and Leo. And what the nodes are, they're the lunar nodes. They are points in the sky that we work with individually and collectively every year. And they point towards our destiny or the focus in which we are meant to be working towards, right? Like what the universe is saying, this is what you need to be focusing on right now. And since around late September of 2024, really January of 2025, but the first hit was in late 2024 up until now, just recently, we were navigating the axis of Pisces and Virgo, and we were really being asked to surrender, to trust, to believe, as far as like the north node where Pisces was, and then the south node, which is the release point, was Virgo, and it was asking us to let go of control, to let go of perfectionism, to let go of like being nitpicky or having to have everything really planned out and be like analytical and like be what is
Very
the word?
masculine, very almost like,
Yeah,
have all your ducks in a row, like be very organized and like quit clinging so much, I think, to like old structures, right?
absolutely. And it was very much like needing to see it to believe it. It's like, no, how about we learn to believe it before we see it?
Mm.
So there was a lot of lessons around that for all of us, and every single person is going to be activated differently. For me, particularly, I love that we're having this conversation right now because it really feels like completion to my own Pisces and Virgo journey. Because for me, my Virgo placement, where I was letting go, where I was like allowing the universe to just push me to not have so much control and so much grip on a part of my life. And that part of my life was my work, my career, who I am in the public eye.
Me too. Oh my God, I left my corporate job last year.
And it was like, as an astrologer, I saw it coming, right? Like I knew what was gonna happen. Sometime between like mid 2024, I was like, oh, the notes are changing. What's it gonna be? And I knew that I was going to have to surrender one of the biggest parts of my life, which was who I am in the public eye, the work that I do. And as a Capricorn stellium, that means that I have a lot of planets in Capricorn. That shit is hard. I cried. I cried. And on the other side, the Pisces side, that was my home. And I was being called to really focus on my home, my family, what safety means for me. And over the last few years, there's been so many changes. Like I kind of went a little bit crazy and I tried to sell my house here in Florida because I was like, I gotta do something different. I start homeschooling my daughter. Like
Oh
astrology
my God, I
can
didn't
be
realize that.
so, yeah, astrology can be so literal sometimes that it's actually like humorous. It's funny. I was like, of course I would be doing this. So now it comes to completion, and I'm able to look back and see that since late 2024 until now, I was able to gracefully put a pause on some really big projects regarding my career. And unlike other times in my life, I did it without shame. I did it without guilt. I did it without making it like a failure, right?
Yeah,
Because
because it's not. It's a learning, right? Everything is a learning for our greatest and highest good. And if we didn't learn the lesson the first time, it's gonna come back around.
well, yeah, that is the nature of eclipses, and eclipses work off the lunar nodes. So we are actually now heading into eclipse season as of August. Like we are really starting to feel, and these are going to be a different set of eclipses. So the themes are not going to be so much about letting go of control and perfectionism and leading into trust and faith. But now we are going into Aquarius as the North Node, what we're moving into. And we are going into Leo as the South Node, which is the release point, what we're letting go of. And eclipses are some of my favorite astrology themes to talk about because they were actually the thing that brought me to astrology. And till this day, it is one of the times in which my business blows up the most and I get DMs on my inbox all the time and people are like, "What is going on?" Right? So that is
Because
going to be August.
yes, because I mean, eclipses are doors of fate. Like I have seen in my personal life that the biggest growth I've had spiritually, professionally, in my home, all the things is always during eclipse season. Because if you're not aligned with where you're supposed to be going, the universe is going to make sure you get into alignment. And I remember, I think it was in 2024 eclipse season. I experienced my second miscarriage. And at the time, of course, was sad and moving through it. But looking back, I wasn't meant to have another child yet. There was still so much I needed to move through, and my business needed to really have happen that if a child had come earthside then, like my now would be so different. And now I'm ready. It's so funny. It's another eclipse season and we're trying for our third. And I know she's so close by. Like I can feel her. She's probably coming in August and then she'll be a Taurus like me and then my husband's fucked. But but I truly believe that like you can quantum leap during eclipse season if you're intentional and if you're paying attention.
Absolutely, 100%. So like you said, they are gates of faith. Is that what you said?
Yeah, windows, gates. I like gates too, actually.
Love that. Yeah, I love that. I always speak on eclipses and I say that they are destined moments that will put you further into the track that you are meant to be on. And there's a couple different ways that you can go about this. When you are aware of it, right? When you are aware of the cycles of the cosmos, you follow creators like me or like you who speak on these big events that, by the way, happen twice a year. They're not rare. They're always happening. So like I feel like there's this like sort of like a little bit of like clickbaity
Oh, yes. They're like, oh, if
yeah.
you don't take advantage of this energy right now, oh my God, it's the 888 portal. Which, of course, I mean, I have a honey ritual to share with people on 88 if you would like it. But, like, if you don't do it, that's fine too.
Okay. And like you said, things will come back around. Like that is just the nature, the cyclical nature of existence, right? That we are here and things will come back around. But yeah, these events happen twice a year, every year, and this time in August, we will start to get the first sort of feel of like what the release point is going to be in Leo. And they are fated events that happen in order to guide us and put us further into the path that we are meant to be on. When we are aware of what's happening, we can navigate it a little bit easier. It doesn't mean that it's going to be easy, but we can hold ourselves through the changes. Why? Because eclipses have this energy of being volatile, of being unpredictable, of being unexpected. There's going to be fated events that happen. This could be meeting people, people exiting your life, opportunities coming your way, insight. It could be internal or external, right? Like it could be something that comes at you, or it could be internally having a moment of like a breakthrough, being like, oh, this is the thing, or this is what's holding me back, or this is what I need to be doing. Particularly in August, we are going to feel that first pull from the Leo release. So to backtrack a bit, we felt that first pull of the Aquarius kind of where we're headed, right? Where the pool of what we need to be doing more of in February of this year. So for those of you listening, I think it would be wise to look back into like around February 12th, but really all of February, because eclipses have this tendency to kind of like they last about 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after. So take a look at what was going on in your world in February and see where you were being asked to step outside of the box a little bit, to be a little bit weirder, to stop caring so much about what others think, and to allow yourself to show up more authentically, even if it's not what has always helped you be received in the past, right? Like kind of like letting the masks fall off. And these are all Aquarius themes. Something else that may have been coming through for you, and it definitely is for me, is community and technology and innovation. Yeah.
Yes, community has been, it's wild to me with all the rise in technology, how much I have been craving, and I feel like my community's been craving in-person connection and being together. You know, like the Zodiac Mixer series that I host here in Atlanta is themed around, you know, the zodiac of whatever the season is, but it's all rooted in community. And it's like, no wonder these are taking off as, you know, we're moving into the North Node of Aquarius, because people want to be together. Like, we don't want to be told, you know, a guru standing on a pedestal telling us what to do. Like, no, we want to come together and brainstorm and share and like realize that we're all going through a lot of the same things. Like, we have become so disconnected. And I don't know about you, but I don't have a lot of family directly around me. You know, most of my family is still in Florida. or my husband's family is over in Alabama. And like, I've just been really feeling like, okay, then I'm going to create the family that I want to have. I'm going to create the community that I want to have. And the people are only going to find you by your weirdness, by your magic, by you being you being authentic, right? Like if you're not, if you're out there, you're a little afraid to share online or whatever, that's fine. Maybe search out communities that feel like-minded, or, have different themes that you're wanting to explore and learn about, because we're all going to grow together, and our individual healing helps the collective healing. And I think even more so now, right, that we're kind of in this Aquarius energy.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the Aquarius energy has been building up for a while, right? Like we are the generation, that lifetime that has seen the age of Pisces ending and the age of Aquarius coming into life. Now, ages in astrology are 2,000 years long, right? Yeah, yeah. So it happens very slowly. Like last time this happened was around when Jesus was around, right? It was going from Aries to Pisces, and you can even see that like as it slowly started to go from like animal sacrifices and shit like that, like Aries, right, into the age of Pisces, which is the last 2,000 years where like all the religions that we really know about now have come about. Pisces has to do with spirituality. Now we're moving from that era into the age of Aquarius, right, which is going to be technology, community, etc. And I think a lot of people are a little nervous about the technology that's coming around now. But I want to remind you how important it is that we are living these times. Like, just like I just said, like Jesus came around between Aries and Pisces. Like we are here between that magical, huge shift. So it's not going to be easy, but our souls chose to be here to move from that era into the other one. And yes, technology is a part of it, but another huge part of the theme of Aquarius is community. And I think that since COVID, we have really just transformed what individuality versus community is. And I think that we've explored some extremes of it, right? Like we've explored some extreme loneliness, some extreme individuality. And we've also explored like what community can be, not just in person, but also online. And that's been beautiful. But with the nodes now moving into Aquarius and Leo, I really do feel that like need for people, for connection. And just like you said, I have also been called to around February, and I was like, oh, maybe we can do something differently. Now, over the last 6 months, I have not done much about it. But just recently, as we're moving into the other part of this, which is Leo is going to be the release point, that idea has been coming back into my head, and I'm like, okay, I've noticed that there is, because of the nature of where I live, people come and go really fast. Florida Keys is somewhere where people will come for vacation, or will come because they have a dream of like living by the beach, and then they realize what living in an island is really like. So then
exactly. That actually Publix is not down the street, that like the cost of living is astronomical, you have to deal with hurricanes. Like,
and one of the huge things that I hear, because I'm a hairstylist too, right? I have a salon here that was established in 2018, and I am so lucky, so fortunate to have that space. And I realize I get that girl connection, that womanhood, like support always. I'm always in it, and I am able to offer that in small bits, one at a time, to different women. And women come to us not just for great hair, but for the feel that you get when you're in the salon. And time again, I have heard it's so hard to make friends here. If you're not a mom, if you're not into boating or diving, or like one of like the super niched activities that are down here, which sometimes people are, right? But I was like, what about just a group of like being a woman? The only requirement that you have to have is just be a woman. And I was like, I have this space, I have a salon. I was like, I have the knowledge and the ability to guide people to create a circle. And And one of the biggest things is I don't want it to be mine. I want it to be ours.
I just got full body chills hearing that. But it's
Yeah.
true, like we need those safe spaces as women to just come, like, what is it on Instagram? Everyone's like, oh, girlhood is this. Like, girlhood is going to the salon with your besties, but also can be like witchy moments where you guys all come together to remember, right, that we are more than just our bodies. We are more than just our daily lives. We are more than just ourselves. We are multidimensional cosmic beings that need to feed that part of ourselves. And when women come together in community, oh my God, like, you don't even have to do anything just to witness one another, to have
That
another
is
woman look in your eyes and say, I see you. Like, oh, that's so powerful.
that is literally it. And it really touches on that like Leo release point, right? Because what is Leo? Leo is the archetype of the performer, right? Like they love attention, they like to be in the spotlight, and every astrological archetype is going to have an evolved and an unevolved side. I don't like to consider it good or bad because there is no good or bad. It's just this polarity of energies that work together. But on the that's why I mentioned all the evolved sides of Aquarius, right? Because we're working towards it. But when we're looking at the South Node, we want to look into the archetype and see what is unevolved about this archetype. And as much as Leo can be a beautiful leader and a guide and somebody who is an example to others because they're not afraid to stand in the spotlight and to lead, when we see that energy unevolved, it can show up as arrogance. It can show up as making it all about yourself. It can show up as a little bit of pride, like wanting to not so much control, but being like, it's not good enough unless I do it.
That
Right?
ego
Ego,
mind for
ego.
sure, which, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see this like play out on the world stage because I feel like there are a lot of Leo ego, energy that needs to be released in the world.
Yeah, yeah, a lot. I'm excited to see that. Especially because Leo really does have to do with that performer, right? And like there's been I think so many performing energies for so many years kind of like ruling the show collectively and also within ourselves. I definitely, as these ideas come through for me, I realized I was like, I want to create this space. I want it to be ours. I don't want to be the leader. And I'll share very quickly a small story that really allowed me to see how powerful women coming together can be. And also how much tension it can release from somebody who may want to do so much good in the world, but always puts all that weight on themselves, right? So the other day, I had a client who was beautiful and amazing, and she was sharing with me all her interests and all the things. Super cool girl, right? I was like, wow, love her. And then I thought of like another client that I have who's also a super cool girl who also has trouble finding friends. And I was like, they would be such good friends. I was like, but how can I bring them together? And then I naturally created a little bit of more of a bond and a friendship with the other girl that I was thinking about. And when this girl was venting to me, I thought to myself, I can just be Captain Save-A-Ho, like I always am. I can also be her friend and I can be everybody's friend. And then I was like, no, the fuck you can't, Yara. Like,
Nope, you only got so much energy, sis.
I literally don't have the capacity. I just told you, I'm homeschooling. I just bought a house in another country. Like, I have my business online. I'm a hairstylist. I'm also a wheelchair user, which I didn't mention at the beginning of this call. But I have a really wild, crazy story of becoming. And I have a lot on my plate. Let's just say that. So I was like, I cannot take on one more friendship. I'm like, but could I create a space to bring these two women together? And then I realized, I was like, I don't have to do it all myself, right? Ego, Leo. I was like, but what can I do? I can use my gifts and my experience that I have and my own Aquarius qualities. I'm an Aquarius sun, by the way, in the third house, which has to do with speaking and sharing and communicating ideas. So what can I do? I can use my voice. I can create a space. I can do something a little weird for where I live, right? Because there is no space where women can just come and be. And even so, like I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't want to open up with astrology because I think people already see that as a little something weird in my small town. And like they just deal with it because it's just Yara. But it can like turn off people sometimes, or it can be a little scary to people sometimes.
They just come with their preconceived notions, right? Of what they've heard or what someone said, or, I saw that at my Zodiac mixer that we actually chose the name Zodiac versus astrology because of that. We were like, we don't want anyone to feel alienated, and you have whatever beliefs you have, you're welcome here. You're welcome anywhere. But I could see why, being thoughtful about that is important.
Yeah, I love the choosing zodiac over astrology. That's really cool. Like I might borrow that.
Yes.
At
And Jose, if
time.
you want to have a Zodiac mixer, we need to like get one of those happening in the Florida Keys too. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I would love to learn more about that. That's super cool. But yeah, so I didn't want to open with that, but I was like, what if I just created a space where you could just come as you are, and then these two women could meet, and they could meet once, and then maybe again next month, and maybe again next month, and before you know it, they are getting that fulfillment that they need that I wanted to give, but I'm like, I can't, but I can facilitate a space for women to just be, like you said, to just look into each other's eyes and just, I think that, at least for me, I'm a millennial. I think a lot of us are starting to like go through like starting to feel like different changes in our bodies. Like there's a lot of hormonal stuff going on. And some women feel very like gaslit by like medical places and
Oh,
spaces.
absolutely.
And they're like I had a client, she's like, I've been waiting 6 months to speak to this doctor. And I looked for a female doctor. They were like, not saying that like, man, I love men. Don't get me wrong. Like men are freaking wonderful, right? But I really do feel like there is so much magic that can and will happen when we create these spaces for women to come together. And when we realize that we can go, there's a quote that I learned when I first started like diving into like my business and refinement. And they said, alone, like by yourself, you can go faster, but together you can go further.
It's so true because that thing that you're Googling at 2 o'clock in the morning because you're having a panic attack about it, I bet another woman's already experienced it. They've
Hmm.
already walked through it. They can share with you, girlfriend, your hair is not thinning because of X, Y, and Z. It's thinning
Hmm.
because of perimenopause or whatever, or hey, I tried this, I tried that. Like it's almost like we're kind of creating that village again that we don't have. And as millennials too, I feel like we're so uniquely placed because we lived in a world pre-technology.
Hmm.
And so I think we remember part of that and we're bringing it with us on this technological journey. And we're seeing that, the screens, the technology, these things, they have their place. They're not going anywhere. We can't put our head in the sand and act like, oh my God, we can't ever use AI again. I'd love to say that, but we can't because that's not how the world works. The world is going to continue to use AI. So how do we, put our little piece in there that's going to help society, instead of hinder it? How are we going to help shape the algorithm of the AI, as an example? And I think we can do that when we thoughtfully come together with other women. We absolutely go further than we ever would by ourselves. Like, I don't know about you, but I love just collaborating and thinking about fun ideas with other women and realizing like, oh, so and so knows so and so. Oh, great. Like, I don't know if it's just women, we're natural matchmakers like that, but I'm like you, where I'm like, oh, this person would love this person, and they could get together. And are you a projector? Remind me, in human design?
I'm not. I've been asked that so much. I am a generator. I'm a 6-2 generator. So
Okay,
there's
okay.
there's a hermit aspect of me that feels a little projecty, I think.
Yeah. I think you have such great like vision casting. I think it's because you're so connected to the cosmos and to yourself and your soul's mission, that you can see those patterns in a way that I think a lot of people can't. And kudos to you as a generator too for noticing what lights you up and what doesn't, because there's so many generators in the world that say yes to things because they have the maybe they don't even have the capacity to. They think they have the capacity and they say yes. And then before they know it, they're drowning. So I love what you're creating and I love what you're moving towards. And, if anyone listening, takes nothing else from this episode except for this last little bit, what would you share with them? And what do you think they should know over August and then, the coming months in 2026?
Yes. So the rule of thumb for eclipses is everything that enters and exits your life during this time is meant to. So let it. Don't cling on to anything. Trust that the universe is moving. During eclipse season, I always picture sort of like a Rubik's Cube being solved, right? And the universe is doing the movements for you. It's almost like you're driving the car and you're like moving little by little. And like during eclipse season, the universe just throws you off the driver's seat and says, I'm taking hold of it. And it may feel a little jerky, but it is guiding you exactly where you are meant to. So pay attention to the subtle signs and pay attention to the big signs and allow yourself to just trust fall into them. Remember that what we said, we can go further together and you don't have to do it all on your own. And I think that a lot of beautiful things are going to be co-created between each other, with us together, human and human, but also with technology. As an Aquarius sun, I do feel a lot of the fear and the chaos around people, around AI and technology uprising. But I truly wholeheartedly believe that this uprising in technology is also going to bring out the best parts of our humanity. And we can do it and we can create it together, one with each other and us with technology. And remember that we are here for that transformation from Pisces to Aquarius, and it's not a coincidence that we are here and we have everything that it takes, everything that we need in order to make that happen, in order to always be happy, healthy, and safe.
I love that. Thank you so much for being here, Yara. Where can folks find you at Cosmos Salon? And I know Cosmos Yara on Instagram, but what else? And can they book readings with you? Especially during eclipse season, I'm sure like people are going to be flocking to you to be like, tell me what's going on.
Yes. So I do one-on-one astrology readings. I have a threshold session, which is a 90-minute reading if you are looking for your soul purpose, if you are looking to really deeply understand yourself and you want not just a general astrology reading, but something that is going to help bring confirmation, clarity, and direction to your life. I would recommend that you book that. You can find that inside my link on Cosmos Yara on Instagram. And I also offer just 60-minute astrology sessions to anybody who would just like to do a more general dive into who they are. My approach to astrology is astrology broken down in a way that's very easy to digest, to understand, and to apply to your life, right? And then every month I will do updates on around every new moon and full moon, and I always like to run a special on $50 mini readings inside the DMs. So I'm a very personable person. Like I'm a hairstylist. I've been a hairstylist since I was 16. I talk to you like a normal person. Again, like we were saying, no like hierarchy, no putting anybody on a pedestal. There is no dumb questions ever. So whether you are brand new to astrology, have never had a reading, or you are pretty well versed in it and you want to speak to somebody who's a little nerdy about it, I am your girl. So please feel free to follow me on social media, on Instagram at Cosmos Yara, and I will always be there. Feel free to DM me and tell me, hey, I listened to the podcast from Vic and I want to learn more. I just want to say hi. I love to make new friends, and I can't wait to connect with you all.
Yay. Thank you again. Thank you guys so much for listening. If this conversation touched your heart, please like, share, rate, review, share it with another woman who just needs to feel seen. If you're in Atlanta, I have the Zodiac Mixer here once a month. We are coming together to celebrate the 2 zodiac signs of the season. So our next one will be at the end of August. It'll be a bit of Leo, a bit of Virgo. And of course, I have my Monarch Mystery School. We have online classes to remind you of your divine feminine power, but we also have a retreat coming up here in September to Provence, France. And also in November in Mexico is our You Are the Oracle retreat, where we're Reiki attuning you. We're teaching you to open the Akashic records. We are really helping you step into your own medicine as a woman, as a guide, as a healer, as a human being on earth. So thank you guys for being here. Be good to one another. I'll see you next week.